It's very clear that Hunter Biden's attorneys are desperate. It seems they didn't expect there to be a gun charge because of the agreements, which Delaware prosecutors should never have been in the position of anyway. But now that that's happened, they are flailing, and they're apparently striking out anywhere they can.
Well, that was the attorney for IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley responding to a brand new lawsuit filed by the president's son, Hunter Biden. Joe Biden is suing his son is suing the IRS, claiming that agents targeted him and sought to embarrass him by disclosing confidential tax information in testimony and media interviews. Just last week, special counsel David Weiss filed federal gun charges against Hunter after his plea deal collapsed. Let's bring in Fox News contributor and law professor Jonathan Turley. Great to have you here, Jonathan. So try to make sense of all this for us. Do you believe Hunter has a case here against the IRS?
I don't. They may be able to find a sympathetic trial judge, but in the long run, I can't see how this plays out because the federal law expressly allows the House committee to release tax information. There's a special exemption for certain committees, including this one. And if you look at the Senate report that went into this law, they said that public disclosure of tax information as part of investigations was part of the intent of Congress. So what these whistleblowers did is they spoke to this committee. The committee released the information. But you'll notice from the hearing that the whistleblowers repeatedly refer to that statement. They're very careful to say within the confines of the statement. And indeed, if you look back at the hearing, they repeatedly declined to answer questions that were not within what they gave the committee. That was all in compliance with this federal law.
Jonathan, this is just part of the lawsuit Hunter is filing against the IRS. It reads, quote, Mr. Biden has no fewer or lesser rights than any other American citizen, and no government agency or government agent has free rein to violate his rights simply because of who he is. Yet the IRS and its agents have conducted themselves under a presumption that the rights that apply to every other American citizen do not apply to Mr. Biden. So if it's released through the congressional committee, is that different than if the IRS whistleblowers are out there sharing this information themselves?
Well, there is a difference there, but the committee did ultimately release much of this information. And we can go line by line, but it seems like the committee made the decision that this was to be made public. That's why they held a public hearing. They decided that what they told the committee had to be given to the public. And so that's the reason I can't see how this is going to work out, because Congress is pursuing its constitutional function of oversight within the federal government. This is a corruption scandal. They're alleging that Hunter Biden was given special treatment and protection to hide an influence peddling operation. That's going to require the disclosure of some of this money and also how the investigation was handled. I can't see how a court's going to thread that needle without limiting the constitutional function of this committee.
Finally, I'll ask you what it all means for the Republicans' impeachment inquiry, an investigation into the Biden's family's financial documents and releases. There is evidence, the Wall Street Journal says, for an impeachment inquiry. It reads, quote, the Biden money trail goes through at least 20 shell companies. The vice president used different email pseudonyms. At least 170 financial transactions related to Hunter or Joe's brother, James Biden, were flagged to Treasury as suspicious. To say there's no cause for investigation is to deny the reality of all we've learned about the Biden family business. Based on what you just told us about not really seeing a case here with the IRS, is it safe to say that the outcome of this filing by Hunter Biden won't get in the way of the Republicans' investigation?
No, it won't. Hunter Biden is screaming at an approaching storm. It's not going to change its course. The fact is that the House has an obligation to see where this evidence goes. An impeachment inquiry is that. It's an inquiry. It's not an actual impeachment. This may or may not lead to an impeachment. But even the polling is showing that the public believes that Joe Biden was involved in this influence peddling. We have to find out. That's the constitutional function of Congress. And they are going to pursue that money trail, and I think it's going to increase in speed as we go forward now, because an inquiry is being conducted.
All really important stuff. Good to get you on all of that. Jonathan, thank you so much.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.